In the last couple of videos, we have looked at determining molar mass, using Avogadro's number in order to convert from molecules and atoms to moles or vice versa. And we've also looked at converting within a molecule. In this video, we're going to look at how can we use conversions, how can we perform conversions using the molar mass of a compound. So I'm just going to work two examples with you. For the first example, we're going to use water, H2O. So what I want you to do is stop the video, calculate the molar mass of water, determine what its molecular weight is. All right, hopefully you got 18.01 grams per mole. If you didn't calculate that, go back and watch another video, give it an attempt, try and figure out what you did wrong and how we got that number. All right, what I want us to do is let's start out with 32.1 moles of water. And the question I really want to get to is, if I know I have that many moles of water, how many grams of water do I have? If I weighed out 32.1 moles on a balance, how much would it weigh? And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a conversion factor of our molar mass. And so with this, our 18.01 goes with our grams, and the mole is an understood one, okay? So we have 1 mole, so it's 18.01 grams of water per 1 mole of water. All right, and so this grams per mole is just an abbreviation for grams of water per mole of water. All right, another way people have done this is AMU, atomic mass units. They're going to be the same thing, okay, for our purposes. They're the same. All right, so grams per mole, so we start with moles, which means if we're going to convert 2 grams, we need grams on top and moles on the bottom. So for every 1 mole of water, it's going to weigh 18.01 grams. Moles are going to cancel, and you're going to be left with grams of water. So 32.1 times 18.01 is going to give us 57. Is going to give us 578 grams of water. And I always put a box around my final answer. It helps me tell what was an initial stopping step and what's my final answer at the end. So this is one example where we go from moles to grams. What if we wanted to make it a little bit more complicated and we wanted to go from grams to molecules? So we're going to use a new compound for this example. We are going to use C6H12O6, which is just a sugar. Stop the video and figure out what is the molecular weight of this compound. You should have gotten 180.15 grams per mole. So my question for you is, if I have 5 grams of this compound, how many molecules of this compound do I therefore have? And so we're going to have to do a couple steps to get us there. So 5 grams of C6H12O6. All right, so remember, if we got grams, we can't go straight to molecules or straight to atoms. We have to stop through moles. It's kind of like the train station. You can't just bypass it. You have to go through it, okay? So in this case, we're going to go from grams to moles, and then from moles to molecules. So grams, so if grams goes on bottom, we have 180.15 grams of C6H12O6 and 1 mole of C6H12O6. We will therefore get rid of grams, and we're left with moles. But we don't want moles, we want molecules. So to go from moles to molecules, remember that wonderful number we get to use? Avogadro's number? 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. That's what we're going to use. So my question to you, does that go on top or bottom? Hopefully you said on top. 1 mole of C6H12O6 is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. And do not abbreviate that as moles, M-O-L. That's not okay. You got to write it out, okay? C6H12O6 Don't abbreviate that. All right, there's abbreviations for most stuff in chemistry. Don't abbreviate molecules. You'll get yourself confused. All right, so now let's check and see if we're good. Grams have canceled. Moles have now canceled, leaving us with molecules. So if you perform all that math, I would do 5 times 6.022 E23 divided by 180.15. You'll end up with 1.7 sig figs based off this number times 10 to the 22nd molecules of C6H12O6. And that is your final answer. So practice just going back and forth. You can go moles to grams, grams to moles, moles to molecules, molecules to moles, atoms to moles, and vice versa. And then I could ask you any combination. I could skip through from grams and go to molecules, and go from molecules to grams. There's just so many combinations, but you're going to be using these things constantly in addition to your naming, okay? We don't have a lot, this is just water for this case, but I could have said, what? Dihydrogen monoxide. We're not going to get into naming of sugars and stuff. That's going to be for organic. But for all of the types of names that you've been taught, you have to be held responsible for them. All right, so this video just shows you how to use conversions using the molar mass. So make sure you understand that before you move on.